This video is titled, Why Nice Guys Finish Last. Now, if I'm going to get any pushback from people telling me, that's not true, nice guys do really well, nice guys are sweet, nice guys are cute, then you're just lying to yourself because they don't get what they want in the end. Unless they've adapted their personality or they've adapted their ways, or all of a sudden they're not complete pushovers. So why is it that nice guys finish last? So let's think about this the other way. Why is it that non-nice guys finish first? The definition really of a non-nice guy, and I need to bring in my knowledge of masculinity here, is that women like masculine men. And masculine men are not necessarily nice guys, because masculine men go for what they want in life. They are the leaders. They have a target in mind. They know what they want, and they're decisive. What do women like in a man? Decisiveness. Haha! Rocket science, isn't it, this stuff? What do women not like in men? Indecisiveness. You ever turn around to your girl and said, hey babe, you want to go out for dinner tonight? What do you fancy eating? And she's like, oh, I don't mind. What do you want to eat? And you're like, oh, I don't know. I was thinking about this and this and this. What about you? And she's like, oh, I mean, I don't know. Like, I've had all sorts of different foods this week. Why don't you make up your mind? And you're like, no, I mean, I've tried all sorts of things. I want you to pick tonight. She's going to be like, oh, for God's sake. That's exactly what she's going to be like. She's waiting for you to make the decision. So you can make the right decision, not just for you, but you can also make that decision for the pair of you. Like, you know what, baby? There's this real amazing sushi place in town, and I know you love that tuna tataki. And so we're gonna go there because they do the bomb tuna, and we're both gonna love it. Done. What I'm trying to portray in my videos is that masculinity is not aggressive, and it's not toxic. It's decisive, and actually it bears in mind what everyone wants. So, again, you go back to why do nice guys finish last? Well, that indecision is going to cost you your woman. She's going to be like, oh, my man is just so indecisive. If you spend 3 months, 6 months looking for a car, you don't know what car you want, and all your woman hears is, oh, I mean, I want this Range Rover, but I'm not too sure, and I like the Kia, and yeah, but the tyres are too small on it, and the Vauxhall's great, and you know, I'm thinking about the Chevrolet, and the Dodge is nice, I really can't make up my mind, and I wanted a Porsche, and I just really don't know, I'm going to give up on this. That's a weak answer. It's a weak decision, weak answer. And so she's going to be like, God, who cares about the car? Just make up your mind. Rather than, you know what, babe, I've always wanted a classic Mercedes, a 20-year-old Mercedes. I dreamed of it as a child. I had this dream when I was like 17 years old that I was driving this classic Mercedes. You know, I was actually in the back seat, Dad was driving, and he gave me an opportunity to drive it, and I heard this roaring engine in the back, and it had this beautiful classic silver color, and it was like restored from fresh, and I can still hear the sound right now ringing in my ears, and I want to go and see if I can find one of those, and I want to restore it myself, and that's what I want to drive. Boom! That's decision. Not only is that decision, but you've described the scenario, and you've given your woman a sense of what it feels like, what it sounds like, your passion towards it. So these are just a very, very few examples of how a decisive man who knows what he wants in life is more attractive to women. And the Mr. Nice Guy, who's constantly trying to please everyone, trying to please her, being indecisive, doesn't know exactly what he wants, is the people pleaser, is running around after her, whatever she wants to eat, whatever she wants to do. Yeah, whatever. As long you're the princess, baby, this is all for you. Too much, that's disgusting. She doesn't like it. Women get put off by that behavior. The feminine women want a masculine man. Very briefly, a masculine man is a man who's in shape, looks after his body, who's got his shit together at work, who earns a good salary, who's decisive, who looks after the house, who's protective, who loves his parents, who is strong, mentally and physically, picks the right things to do in difficult circumstances, and who wants to protect and love and lead by example. That's a masculine man. What beautiful traits. What beautiful traits this masculine man has, rather than this toxic masculine man who's aggressive, not in touch with his emotions, angry all the time, you know, getting involved in conflict, doesn't like facing conflict, is passive aggressive. That's toxic masculinity. A true masculine man walks away if he's not desired. If she's like, sorry, I'm not interested, he says, you know what he says? He says, no worries, your husband's a lucky man. I wish you a beautiful evening. And he walks off gracefully. That, my friends, is true masculinity. And that is what I'm trying to represent and portray and exemplify in my videos and through my channel. True art of true essence of masculinity. Somehow I've adopted this in my life. Could be through my upbringing, could be through my experiences, could be through smashing the gym for so long and eating the right things and sleeping well and having high levels of testosterone. All of that has something to do with having a healthy dose of masculinity. Okay, I feel like I have a real healthy dose of masculinity. It's not perfect, nobody is, but I definitely have a much healthier dose than 99.9% of men. And it just takes me walking into a room for people to realize that. In fact, recently I was on the beach and there were some beautiful girls sitting there, and one of my friends knew the girls, and I walked over, and within like 10-20 minutes we got talking, and one of the girls was like, oh, the gay guy really fancied you, but he knew you weren't gay. And I was like, so how come he knew I wasn't gay? And she said, well, you had this real masculine movement about you. Your posture, your movements, your general demeanor and your energy was very masculine, and he knew straight away that you were straight. And the girls knew straight away that you were straight and confident. Damn, what a compliment that is. Well, thank you very damn much. Apparently nice guys get what they want in the end. And that's not true, because they need to adapt. They need to take on traits of masculinity. A nice guy is not going to get what he wants, because unfortunately that's not how the world works. You can't be Mr. Nice Guy and expect to get everything in return. You need to be stern. You need to know what you want. You know, if you're so nice and you're always, you know, appreciating and delivering and helping and doing all these different things and not expecting anything in return, I mean, you're a beautiful person, don't get me wrong. But the women are not going to like that. They're going to be like, this guy's a pushover. Anything I want, I can ask him to do and he does it? Ugh, how horrible is that? Ugh, freaks me out. That's what she's going to say. She's going to be freaked out if you bend over backwards for her all the time. But if she says, oh, baby, can you like make me a coffee? Like, I'm tired. You're like, babe, I'd love to, but I've got to get these work calls done and they're super important. And I want to take you on a beautiful holiday this year. So I need to take these calls. Maybe next time. How beautiful is that? You're not offending her. You're giving her a reason as to why you can't do so. If you're like, no, get it yourself, then that's toxic. So I hope to be the one that differentiates between the toxic side of masculinity and the true side of masculinity. Because if someone doesn't explain this, then the world is going to go nuts like it already has. And us men are going to get a bad name and a bad rep. And the feminists are going to keep rising up and being like, men are assholes, men are this, men are that, which is bullshit. Few men are fantastic leaders, are fantastic people, and are absolutely required in society to preserve us, to protect us, to give us offspring. I mean, you need a man and a woman. You just want a good man. You don't want some toxic, crazy, horrible father, unfortunately creating terrible children. And you also don't want a Mr. Nice Guy father, because Mr. Overly Nice Guy father is going to get pushed around by his own children because they scream and cry and know they can manipulate their father into buying things. So if daddy buys them things, then you're just going to create spoiled kids in the end. And spoiled kids are the worst people to deal with because they're entitled pieces of shit. So that's why nice guys finish last. Not only do they finish last in relationships, but they also finish last in parenthood and being a father figure. A father is a stern man who disciplines his children to the correct degree. Doesn't beat them, of course, but disciplines them, rewards them for good behavior, punishes them for bad behavior. If you're not doing that, then you're just going to raise entitled children in this world, and they're all going to do what they're currently doing right now, which is swiping TikTok, depressed, bullying other people because they've had terrible childhoods and they've had no difficulties and zero discipline in their life. You ever remember that kid that's in a room, you tell him not to touch something and he looks at you and he's like, what? And he still goes for it? Bad parenting. Whereas the kid that actually goes for it and you're like, excuse me, can you not touch that please? And he's heard that before in his mind thousands of times at home, you'll be like, oh yeah, my parents said that to me. Maybe I shouldn't do that. I'm gonna get memories of getting smacked in the bum with a little wooden spoon, you know? Not too hard, just a nice little smack, just to remind him, hey kiddo, that's a no-no, because you need some guidance. So there is a quick 12, 13 minutes of why a nice guy is gonna finish last and why a true masculine man is always in demand in this world and will get what he wants in terms of from his children and from his woman. I hope you enjoyed this video. I look forward to making many more.